real quick, switching gears and going to the PFL. We have PFL 5, where in the main event, we have Bruno Cappelozza taking on Matus Scheffel. Josh, this overall is a card that is it's lightweights and heavyweights being showcased. Who do you think about, or what do you think about this heavyweight matchup with the reigning champ?
I think that Bruno Cappelozza is just a freak of nature. Just an athletic, big, fast heavyweight. And I really don't see him giving up that championship. I really don't.
Yeah, I think he punches his ticket to the playoffs this week.
Oh, for sure.
Because especially in the heavyweight division, anything can happen on any given night.
Yes.
You know, with those guys who can throw some of the bombs that they can, especially with some of the late edition replacements that they've added, that are for the most part all going to be on the undercard. Multiple UFC vets got added to the card. Guys like Juan Adams, Mo Green, all those guys were late additions to this card. If they get that first round finish, there is a potential that they could punch their ticket. Anybody on any given night at the heavyweight division has a chance to finish anyone.
It is really crazy, and I know this is for another day, but how PFL does, like, how does that work, I wonder? Because I saw over the weekend Corey, he was in line alternate to fight if Pesta couldn't go,
Yeah,
but Corey Hendricks won his first fight, or I believe he went 1-1, I believe, or something like that, and said he was guaranteed it, but they said that he didn't look like he was ready. I wonder how they set this up, especially with the fill-ins and alternates and all that. I know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But yeah, moving along to the co-main event, we have a matchup between Anthony Showtime Pettis, who is taking on Stevie Ray. This is a matchup that does have the potential for upset, and I guess I say upset from the sense of Showtime is a guy who, when PFL signed him at the rate that they did, they wanted him to come in and be the champion,
be the guy.
Like, they want him to be the face of the face of the franchise. They want him to be Showtime for them. But I don't know. Like, I think that's 2000 and late sort of situation. That time is past for Pettis, as far as being that top guy, at least from what we've seen in these recent performances. Now, that being said, Anthony may go out there and try to show us that he's still that guy.
Look, so far in the PFL season, Anthony Pettis is 1-0. So I'm telling you, this season, Showtime's going undefeated.
He could very well.
No disrespect to Stevie Ray.
Yeah, definitely. But I also have to think that it's worth giving credit or mention to that Showtime does also have a lot of other business interests, and he's becoming on his own scale. He's a promoter that has his own shows, Showtime Fights, along with other business ventures that he's involved with. He's getting more to that stage of life where he doesn't have to fight. Like, he's still fighting, but there's other things that could be drawing his time and energy and efforts away, that maybe instead of that extra strength and conditioning session that he might have had back when he was burning up the WEC scene and in the early UFC stage of his career as a champion, maybe those extra training sessions that he was having, well, now he's going and he's doing meet and greets. Well, those type of things. You know what I mean?
No, I completely get what you're saying, but again, that is a valid concern. But when you get older in this fight game, you kind of have a better way of approaching things, and maybe not particularly the strength conditioning. Maybe he's doing more recovery. Maybe I'm sorry, I cannot go against Anthony Pettis. Like, growing up watching UFC, WEC, watching that guy rise to what he did and just what he did in MMA, I can't go against him.
Well, he wasn't nice to us out in California, so I'm picking against him.
I'm nice. You want to talk about nice?
We
get in a cage and we fight people,
he stole
Jordan.
Yusuf's chair, and he was a you-know-what about it.
Maybe Yusuf shouldn't have moved his feet. You lose your seat. That's what they always say.
This is on a personal level, okay? This isn't from anything aside from that. This is feelings, not
all
facts.
All feelings,
okay?
no facts.
But in terms of me having a personal fighter to keep an eye on, I'm going to keep my eyes on Lance Palmer. I think in general, the matchup of Lance Palmer against Shaman Rice, it's that featherweight fight. Lance Palmer is a former two-time 145-pound PFL tournament champion, but he hasn't had his hand raised since 2019. And I have to question, does he still have it, especially against a guy like Shaman Rice, who's a game UFC veteran, who just so happens to be riding a 3-fight winning streak right now?
Yeah, that's a tough question, and that's a good feature right there. I think that's going to be a super interesting fight.
Certainly. And who do you have your eyes on?
Bonchiak and Chris Wade.
That's a great fight.
That is an absolute barn burner. I cannot believe that actually skipped my mind when I was looking at the card earlier this week. That is a fire fight right there, folks. That is going to be Kyle's never had a boring fight, and every time you see PFL highlight, you see Chris Wade like running in and front kicking someone in the face. Like that's good. I'm sorry, that's where I'm watching that fight for sure.
It's kind of like one of your old fights popped up on my YouTube feed the other day where you Spartan kicked the guy.
This is Sparta.
Yeah, it was like a straight up, this is Sparta. You Spartan kicked him off the fence and just uppercutted him right there, just into the place where time doesn't exist. But I digress. Folks, stick around after the break. We're going to be going around the world in combat sports and going 3 rounds. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting alongside UFC middleweight Josh Frim. This is the MMA Plug presented to you by the Talk of Colorado on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.